So let's talk about a paradox you've probably seen in your own workplace. It's this strange situation where the people who are often your most driven, your most assertive, are also the ones who are completely convinced that your official systems are a total joke.
I mean, have you ever seen this? You roll out this brand new performance review process. You talk all about fairness, about transparency, and your top performers, your alphas, just kind of smirk and roll their eyes. It's like they know something you don't. So what is going on there? Well, the answer starts with this number right here, positive 0.1040. Now, I know it doesn't look like much, but this little number is a statistical key. It's a proven link that unlocks this entire puzzle, connecting a very specific way of seeing the world with a deep, deep distrust in the system.
Okay, let's dive right in. This whole thing is what we're calling the power paradox. And it's not random. It's rooted in a psychological worldview that sees the world less like a cooperative community and, well, more like a jungle.
To really get it, we need to borrow a quick concept from the spiral dynamics model. It's called the red vMEME. Don't worry about the jargon, just think of it as a core value system. And the red mindset? It's all about power, about getting things done now, and about making your mark. Its fundamental belief is that the world is a jungle, and in the jungle, might makes right.
And here is the absolute key to understanding this. For someone with a strong red mindset, saying your performance system is unfair isn't a complaint. It's a statement of fact. It's not cynicism, it's clarity. They aren't surprised by this. They actually feel confirmed because in their world, of course, the system reflects the existing power dynamics. That's how things are supposed to work. So let's decode this a little further. Because if you're a leader, understanding the why behind this perception is absolutely crucial. You know, this right here explains so many miscommunications in organizations. When you say the word fairness, someone with a more rule-based or blue mindset thinks about process, procedures, and what the rulebook says. But a person coming from a red perspective, they hear a completely different question. They're asking, okay, who's actually in charge here? Who has the power to make the final call? They're looking for the person, not the process. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. We see this in some of the most legendary leaders. This quote, which is often attributed to Steve Jobs, is just pure red logic in action. It completely bypasses the system and puts all the weight on the subjective, power-aware judgment of the leader. It's not about ticking boxes. It's about impact and who the leader says is winning. And the data shows this is a really consistent worldview. That first number we saw is backed up by another, even stronger correlation. There's a positive 0.1277 link between this red mindset and the belief that rewards aren't based on merit, but on who you know or how long you've been there. You see the pattern? It all points back to the same core belief. Power and relationships are what really run the show, not the official rules.
Okay, but this is where the story gets a really fascinating plot twist. Because it turns out the red mindset isn't the only one with strong feelings about fairness, but their reasons couldn't be more different.
Whoa. Check this out. That second bar, the yellow stage, has a correlation of positive 0.3218. That is 3 times stronger than red. But here's the critical difference. Where red sees unfairness as just a natural feature of power, the yellow mindset sees it as a sign of systemic incompetence. They distrust the system not because it's rigged by a strong leader, but because it's poorly designed, inefficient, and fails to measure what truly matters.
This table just lays it out so perfectly. You think you have one performance review system? Nope. You have at least 4 different realities. For red, it's a game of power. For blue, it's about compliance. Just follow the rules. For orange, it's all about the numbers, the KPIs. And for green, it's about making sure everyone feels included and heard. You simply cannot design one process and expect it to work for everybody.
So, all this stuff isn't just interesting psychology, right? It's actually predictive. This knowledge lets us move away from just guessing how people will react and towards actually modeling human behavior with some pretty surprising accuracy. All of these correlations, and there are thousands of them, become the fuel for a new kind of management science. They let us build these dynamic models that can actually predict the invisible consequences, the human ripple effects of our decisions. You know, the stuff that usually blindsides leaders and can quietly sink a company. And the predictions you get can be completely counterintuitive. I mean, look at this. You decide to cut all salaries by 10%. The orange, results-driven person, they're out of there. They see it as a sign of failure, something that's inefficient and blocking their success. But the red, power-driven mindset, they might actually respect it. Why? Because it's a raw display of power. It shows the leader is strong enough to just take it,
And in their worldview, that strength demands respect. Same action, totally opposite reactions. And here's how that plays out in a real-world scenario. A leader makes what looks like a simple financial decision: layoffs. But that one action sets off a devastating chain reaction. First, fear of job loss skyrockets. That immediately destroys trust. But then a nasty secondary effect kicks in. Ageism goes up as people start fighting over the few remaining spots. And the final outcome? Your legitimacy as a leader is completely shot. The spreadsheet says you saved money, but the model shows you just destroyed the company's soul.
So, what on earth do you do with all this? If you're a leader trying to actually manage a team, what's the big takeaway here?
Well, this is probably the most challenging piece of the whole puzzle. It's the self-fulfilling prophecy. The person with the red mindset isn't just observing an unfair world. They are actively helping to create it. Their belief that everything is a power play makes them act in more manipulative, more aggressive ways, which of course forces everyone else to get defensive, breaking the system, and proving their initial suspicion right. It's a vicious cycle of distrust.
And that leaves us with one final, really important question to ask yourself. As a leader, are you actually managing one single team? Or is it truth that you're trying to navigate a dozen different realities all at the same time? Because the real challenge of leadership isn't just managing a team, it's learning how to see and speak to all of their different worlds at once.